Hey there riders, Moto Journo Kris here, and Triumph have announced a host of updates to the Bonneville range for 2021, or 2022 as they are calling them in the US of A. Here's a really quick rundown of the highlights by model, and I'll be doing an individual video for each. Or there's my shorts if you'd just like the key points in under a minute. Let's start with those models powered by the smaller 900cc Bonneville engine, the T100 and Street Twin. First up, the T100, as it's received the big performance upgrade, now producing 65 horsepower and 80 Newton meters of torque from just 3,750 RPM. If you're familiar with the Street Twin, the T100 basically receives the engine that was in that model, which offers a stronger performance focus and is now Euro 5. Triumph promised that means more responsive power and lower emissions. The responsiveness is due to a lower inertia crankshaft, lighter balancer shafts, and a 4 kilo weight saving no doubt helping. There's also a higher spec Brembo brake caliper on the front, plus a higher spec 41mm fork and dual shock units with preload adjustability. Wheels are 32 spoke units with 18-inch front, while instruments are dual clocks with an LCD display and a new facing. There's an underseat USB 2 and new rear LED tail light with a number of chrome details. Standard fitment is ABS and traction control with plenty of accessories available. Obviously the suave Street Twin already had the high torque 900cc engine, but it is now Euro 5 with the rest of the updates being quality of life based. With deeper foam on the bench seat, new cast and machined wheels, and updates to the bodywork with some brushed aluminium features. The Street Twin received a huge update in 2019, so obviously there was a lot less necessary to bring the model up to date. Notable features include a low 765mm seat height, Brembo front brake, an electronics package including ride modes, ABS and traction control. The Street Twin is a little more modern of the two machines and boasts a number of advantages over the T100, like a 4-piston Brembo front caliper and radial master cylinder, more modern dash, a lower seat height of 765mm instead of 790, a lighter weight of 216 kilos at the curb instead of 228, and there's some small variance between the bike's geometry. The T100 has a larger 14.5 litre fuel capacity to the Twin's 12 litre, and both run a 5-speed gearbox and offer 16k kilometre or 10k mile service intervals. Wheel sizes are the same across both models, however the T100 runs spoked wheels to the Street Twin's cast units. That's the two smaller Bonnevilles, so let's take a look at the big guns, the 1200cc models receiving an update. The T120 will now receive a Euro 5 version of the 1200cc high torque engine, and while that doesn't sound a big upgrade, Triumph are promising a more responsive power delivery with a lighter crankshaft and optimized clutch and balancer shafts, helping reduce inertia. Performance sits at 80 horsepower and 105 Newton meters of torque, while the bike has also saved 7 kilograms in total. That's partially thanks to a new lightweight aluminium set of rims, while there's also a high spec Brembo brake setup on the front, although it's still 2-piston calipers. Riding modes have also been tweaked, while cruise control will now be standard, while the clocks have a new facing. There's even a USB under the seat and immobilizer built into the keys, plus LED lights. The T120 weighs in at 236 kilograms at the curb with a 14.5 litre tank, and also runs the 41mm forks, a 790mm seat height, and servicing at 16,000 kilometers or 10k miles. The Bonneville Speedmaster meanwhile offers a more cruiser styled take, and like the T120 receives the updated 1200cc high torque Euro 5 engine. Power is slightly lower at 78 ponies, while torque is marginally up at 106 Newton meters. The Speedmaster receives a beefier 47mm Showa fork though to match the monoshock rear setup, while continuing to boast the dual Brembos on the front, unique exhaust, and more comfortable 705mm seat. Lighting is also full LED, while the Speedmaster receives a new dash facing but weighs in at a heftier 263 kilograms at the curb compared to the T120, and runs a smaller 12 litre tank as well as a smaller 16-inch front wheel. Moving on to the Bonneville Bobber, there's similarities to the Speedmaster, with the bike receiving the high torque Euro 5 engine, once again, with all the benefits that provides, but also receiving a larger 12-litre fuel tank for a more generous range, increasing it by 33%. The Bobber also runs the high specification 47mm forks, as well as Brembo front brake setup and monoshock. However, there's a new beefier front wheel, still a 16-inch, and the bike weighs in at a lighter 251 kilograms compared to the Speedmaster at least. The seat height is also an ultra low 690mm, making for the most inviting of the Bonneville models for those of short stature. It goes without saying the Bobber offers a custom look off the factory floor for those after something a bit different, and the new model receives LED DRLs, blacked covers, and a new dash facing and the adjustable seating position, which is unique to this model. So that's a rundown of the 2021 Bonneville updates, although as I said, these are being called 2022 models in the USA. Pricing is still to be announced here in Australia, with the bikes expected in Q2 of this year, while some are arriving in the US a little earlier. It'll be interesting to see where the pricing lands, and certainly a good year to be looking at these models. As always, thanks for watching and stay safe out there.